Hello, Christ the King Anglican Church. Welcome to our series on the Apostolic Fathers. I'm Deacon Kyle, and I'm excited to walk you through, over the course of this series, some facts about a collection of writings known as the Apostolic Fathers. So to begin with, who are the Apostolic Fathers? Where does this title come from? Simply put, the Apostolic Fathers are the earliest Christian writers whose writings are not included in the New Testament. And on the one hand, they're called apostolic because it was believed that they were students of the apostles themselves. So the students of the apostles. Likewise, on the other hand, they're called the fathers because they are recognized as significant and influential leaders in the early church. So apostolic fathers. And this identification of a collection of writers and writings that fit these criteria go back as far as 1672, when the first scholars collected a group of writings termed the Apostolic Fathers. Now, what's interesting, if you look at these writings and compare them to the writings of the New Testament, is how much similarity there is, especially with respect to when they were written. So if you look at the New Testament, the earliest writings of the New Testament, early 50s, by the Apostle Paul. But the New Testament writings extend all the way into the 90s, when we get, for instance, the Revelation to St. John. So from the early 50s into the 90s. Compare that with the Apostolic Fathers. Among the earliest of the Apostolic Fathers is the Didache, which is probably written somewhere around the 70s, perhaps parts of it even earlier. First Clement, written in the 90s. And so there is some overlap chronologically between the New Testament and the Apostolic Fathers. The Apostolic Fathers, though, extend until about 150 or 160. Once we get to about 150 or 160, we'll start calling these writers the next generation, that we'll call the pre-Nicene Fathers, which gets us until about 325 when we start talking about the post-Nicene Fathers. So Apostolic Fathers, we're talking roughly mid-70s through about 150 or 160. And you can see on this chart one hypothesized reconstruction of some dates. I might move a couple of these around a little bit, but by and large, you can see how the lifetimes of some of these Apostolic Fathers overlapped with the lifetimes of the apostles. And so when we think about why the Apostolic Fathers matter to us, they matter to us because these are people who we believe sat at the feet of the apostles themselves. So as we walk through these writings, we'll see that a lot of these men have connections with the apostles that we know from the New Testament. And so as we try and be better students of the Bible, and of the New Testament in particular, we can ask ourselves, who would be best situated to know what someone like Paul or Peter was trying to say? Would it be someone 2,000 years later, living in a very different time and place? Sure, we can absolutely understand a lot of what they're trying to say. But what if we had guides? What if we had experts who actually knew the apostles themselves, lived in the same time and place as they did, and could help us make sense of what the New Testament was trying to say? And that's the beauty and the joy of learning the Apostolic Fathers. So over the course of this series, we'll walk through all of the writings collected in the Apostolic Fathers, and we'll walk through them roughly chronologically. So starting next time with the Didache, and we'll move all the way through this corpus until we get to the martyrdom of Polycarp, the Epistle to Diognetus, and the fragments of Papias and Quadratus. So we look forward to this series. Welcome aboard for the ride.